There are many reasons we go to the movies. Maybe you're there to see a particular actor, or you're there to see the latest work by your favorite filmmaker. Maybe you're there because a trailer caught your eye, or maybe you're there to see a certain character or to see how a particular plot unfolds. Hell, maybe you're just there to eat popcorn. There is a seemingly limitless amount of what you can get out of a movie. Today, we're going to dive into a particular sub-section of film, one that's not quite a genre and can sometimes be hard to define.
These three. Toby, one full of love.
Whoa. Here I come. Here I come.
The plots are thin. The character arcs are minimal. We aren't there to watch the characters become. Instead, we're there to watch what the characters are.
What's in it for the dude?
It's a not quite genre that is content with the present, if not obsessed with the now. In an article by The New Yorker, Quentin Tarantino, a recent but notable practitioner of the subgenre, helped define it. He said, "There are certain movies that you hang out with the characters so much that they actually become your friends, and that's a really rare quality to have in a film. And those movies are usually quite long because it actually takes that long of a time to get past a movie character where you actually feel that you know the person and you like them. When it's over, they are your friends."
You gonna come in and watch my FBI?
Well, I just figured we would. I got a six-pack in the back. Thought we'd order a pizza. All right.
One of the great qualities of the Hangout film is that these films meander. They're in no particular rush to get where they're going, and are all the better for it. As other films choose to barrel through their plot at a breakneck pace, stopping for small character moments along the way, these films take their time and luxuriate. In that New Yorker profile, Tarantino cited 1959's Rio Bravo as the first Hangout film. The movie was made as a response to High Noon. Before diving into the film, one could be forgiven for believing this to be a traditional example of the Western genre. The usual tropes are here. A sheriff, a deputy looking to prove themselves.
Feels good.
But what separates this film from other films from the genre is the simple fact that this movie is in no rush. Whereas other Westerns give our central protagonist a clear objective within the first 10 minutes, Rio Bravo is more than happy to take its time and do what cinema's great hangout films ought to do. Simply watch and observe. At a distance, the viewer remains an objective one. From here, Hangout movies began to take on many different forms. Easy Rider and the great road movies of the 70s. The Big Lebowski and the disaffected, laid-back Taoism of the 90s. It is not uncommon for there to be an element of counterculture in the Hangout film, where the disengagement almost serves as a form of rebellion. They're films as time capsules. And, of course, this brings us to the films of Richard Linklater, one of the great pioneers of the modern era of Hangout movies. His films have almost come to define the genre for a generation of filmgoers. Dazed and Confused, arguably his most accomplished film, is about almost nothing more than what it is like to be a teenager in the late 70s. Instead of exclamatory, his approach is exploratory. His lens almost anthropological in how it watches these characters behave. Sure, there may be story threads, but they rarely take away from the film's principal motivation, to explore these characters and this time. But all this begs the question, why do we watch these movies where the plot is secondary at best? Maybe it's a longing for the times in our lives when the clock seemed to move just a little bit slower. Maybe it's an acknowledgement that life isn't composed of the big emotions, but the smaller but no less real ones. Longing, boredom, contentment, reflection. Or maybe it's just to remind ourselves that our day-to-day is rarely overflowing with events, with plot. Instead, it's full of car rides and small talk and the quiet moments to ourselves. We carefully preserve the large events of our lives, the birthdays or the weddings or the graduations, but we rarely document the small moments that compose most of a life. Maybe these films are born out of a collective desire to capture them and acknowledge the modest beauties of the mundane.
Well, all I'm saying is I just want to look back and say that I did it the best I could while I was stuck in this place. Had as much fun as I could when I was stuck in this place. Played as hard as I could when I was stuck in this place. Dogged as many chicks as I could when I was stuck in this place.
Yeah, right, Mr. Premature.